May is the most powerful planting month of the year, and if you have a balcony and a few containers, you are sitting on an untapped garden that can feed you all summer long. Here are the 7 crops you need to plant right now to get the biggest harvest possible from your small space. Cherry tomatoes are the crown jewel of balcony container gardening and the single most productive crop you can grow in a small space. Varieties like Tumbling Tom, Sweet 100, and Patio Princess are specifically bred for containers. They stay compact, they do not require massive support structures, and a single 5-gallon pot can produce hundreds of fruits from midsummer all the way through fall. The return on one plant is genuinely remarkable. May is the ideal planting window for cherry tomatoes because frost risk has passed in most growing zones, soil temperatures are warming up, and the long sunny days ahead are exactly what tomatoes are built to run on. Plant your seedlings deep. Bury the stem right up to the lowest set of leaves, to encourage a stronger, more established root system. Give them at least 6 to 8 hours of full sun daily, water consistently to keep the soil evenly moist rather than wet or dry, and begin feeding with a balanced fertilizer every 2 weeks once you start seeing flower clusters form. Lettuce is the most forgiving and fastest rewarding crop in the entire container garden, and May delivers the perfect conditions for it to absolutely thrive. Temperatures are warm enough for strong, fast germination, but not yet scorching. And that sweet spot is exactly when lettuce produces its best growth. Varieties like Buttercrunch, Black-Seeded Simpson, Oakleaf, and any loose-leaf salad mix will give you full, harvestable leaves within 30 to 45 days of planting. The beauty of lettuce for balcony growing is that it only needs 6 to 8 inches of pot depth, which means you can line your railing with long window boxes and fit a serious amount of salad production into a very small footprint. Use a lightweight, moisture-retaining potting mix and keep the soil consistently moist throughout the growing period. The technique that makes the biggest difference is cut-and-come-again harvesting. Instead of pulling the whole plant, trim the outer leaves and leave the growing crown in place. One pot of lettuce started in May will keep producing fresh greens continuously for 6 to 8 weeks before the heat of summer causes it to bolt. Bush cucumbers are a balcony gardener's best-kept secret, producing a satisfying, abundant harvest in a surprisingly compact footprint. Unlike traditional vining cucumbers that sprawl across the ground and demand significant horizontal space, bush varieties like Space Master, Bush Pickle, and Bush Champion stay upright and tidy in a large container. Some varieties reach first harvest in as little as 50 days from transplant, making them one of the fastest turnaround vegetable crops on a balcony. Use a container at least 12 inches wide and 12 inches deep to give the root system room to establish itself, and add a small trellis or cage directly inside the pot. Even bush cucumbers benefit from upward support to keep the developing fruit off the soil and allow air to circulate through the foliage. Consistent watering is non-negotiable with cucumbers because they are over 95% water and will produce bitter, stunted fruit if the soil dries out unevenly. Feed with a liquid fertilizer every 10 to 14 days once flowering begins, and your cucumber plant will reward that effort with a steady, productive harvest. Those first 3 crops alone can stock your kitchen from June all the way through September. Before we get into the final 4, which includes the fastest maturing vegetable on this entire list, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to Balcony Garden Oasis so you never miss a new growing guide. Now let's keep going. Radishes are the ultimate quick win crop, and they deserve a permanent spot in every May container garden, no matter how much other planting you already have going on. Varieties like Cherry Belle and French Breakfast mature in just 21 to 28 days from seed, making them the single fastest crop you can grow from start to harvest. That speed makes them enormously useful, not just as a standalone crop, but as a gap filler planted between slower-growing vegetables, while you wait for bigger harvests to develop. Because radishes are direct sown from seed rather than transplanted as seedlings, May's warming soil temperatures are ideal for fast, reliable germination. Succession planting is the strategy that maximizes their value. Sow a small batch every 10 days throughout the month, and you will have a continuous supply of fresh radishes coming in through early summer, rather than one big flush all at once. A pot just 6 inches deep is sufficient. The soil needs to be loose and well-draining so roots can push straight down without resistance, and thinning seedlings to 2 to 3 inches apart will give each plant the room it needs to form a full, well-sized root. Next on the list is basil. When planted near tomatoes, it is widely recognized as a natural pest deterrent that helps reduce aphid pressure and other common garden nuisances while adding unmistakable flavor to your kitchen. A single healthy plant in a 6 to 8 inch pot can supply enough fresh leaves to season your meals through the entire growing season when harvested with the right technique. May is the perfect timing for basil because it is a warm weather plant that thrives in the same conditions your tomatoes and peppers love: full sun, consistently warm temperatures, and well-draining potting mix. The one critical rule every grower needs to follow: pinch off the growing tips before flower buds open. Once the plant bolts and flowers, the leaves turn bitter and the plant begins its decline. Pinch regularly from the top down, harvest outer stems frequently, and your basil will bush out into a full, fragrant plant that stays productive well into late summer. Bush beans are one of the most quietly productive crops you can grow on a balcony, and they are consistently underrated in small space gardening conversations. Varieties like Provider, Blue Lake Bush, and Contender produce impressive yields on compact, upright plants that need no staking, no trellising, and very little intervention once they are in the ground. They are direct sown from seed, germinate reliably in May's warm soil, and deliver first harvests in 50 to 60 days. Plant seeds about 1 inch deep and 4 inches apart in a container at least 12 inches wide and deep, to give the roots proper room to establish. Beans fix their own nitrogen from the atmosphere into the soil, which means they are naturally light feeders. You will not need to heavily fertilize the way you would with tomatoes or cucumbers. The most important rule for getting the most from your bush bean harvest is to pick frequently and early, while pods are still slender and snap cleanly in half. The more you harvest, the more the plant produces. Skipping even a few days of picking can cause pods to become tough and signal the plant to slow production. Compact pepper varieties round out the ultimate May balcony garden lineup and deliver one of the longest, most productive harvest windows of any crop on this list. Varieties like Mini Belle, Lunchbox, Cayenne, and Hungarian Wax are bred specifically for container growing. They stay manageable in size, produce prolifically in pots, and keep delivering fresh peppers from midsummer right through the first frost of fall. A pepper plant started in May has the entire long summer ahead to build structure, set flowers, and produce an extended ongoing harvest. Plant peppers in a 3 to 5 gallon container packed with rich, well-draining potting mix, and position them in the sunniest spot your balcony has to offer. Peppers are heat lovers and will reward 8 or more hours of direct sun with faster growth and significantly heavier fruit set. Water consistently, but allow the top inch of soil to dry slightly between waterings to avoid root rot. Switch to a fertilizer higher in phosphorus once flowers begin forming. This directly supports fruit development and pushes your plant toward a bigger, longer-lasting harvest than nitrogen-heavy feeding alone can deliver. There you have it. 7 crops that will turn your balcony into a genuinely productive garden before the summer even hits its peak. Cherry tomatoes for an endless supply of sweet, homegrown fruit. Lettuce for fast, continuous salad harvests using nothing but a window box. Bush cucumbers for that deeply satisfying daily pick you can look forward to. Radishes for the quickest wins in any container garden. Basil to flavor your kitchen and quietly protect the plants growing beside it. Bush beans for effortless, self-sufficient production. And compact peppers for a harvest that runs all the way to the first frost. May is a short window, but it sets the tone for everything that grows from here. Every single crop on this list is absolutely achievable no matter how small your balcony space is. All it takes is getting them planted. If this guide helped you, hit that like button and subscribe to Balcony Garden Oasis for practical container growing guides every week. Drop a comment below and tell us, which of these 7 crops are you putting in your containers this May? We see every single one. See you in the next video.